Welcome back to Poetry and Police who has no knowledge of his profession, It is said in the under the ethics of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I remember when I was in training, there was a specific chapter in the press on ethics of a police officer, of a good police officer. And I remember it clearly stated that a police officer who has no knowledge of his profession is a danger to himself and the organization, and it couldn't be more right. And I'm going to explain something to you people. And this is a case of a police officer who has no knowledge of his profession. And if I was a person who said, report the matter to complaints or bring it a little bit further, then things might happen. Because listen to me, I went to Jamaica recently and I went to the post office. I'm a pensioner. I am on disability pension. And I went to the post office to pick up my pension checks. And I was told by the person in the post office, that the Greater Portmore Post Office, that my pension was already collected, signed for and collected and cashed out by somebody else. Now, there's one when you're a pensioner. I'm on disability pension, and when you're a pensioner, you can assign an agent who can pick up the pension for you. I assign an agent to my pension. The agent is nowhere in Jamaica, so the only person can now pick up that pension is me. And when I went to the post office, my pension was already signed for by the agent, even though the agent was not in Ireland. The agent is nowhere present in the country, in Jamaica. And I explained that to the post office, and they could not shed any light on the whole situation. How did a person not in country pick up my pension? And if somebody else pick up the pension, then what ID did they use? And when I check on the registered slip, there was an ID number on the thing to collect the pension. I noticed the ID number also belonged to the agent. So, therefore, it would appear as if the agent picked up the pension. But the agent was nowhere in country at the time. And I have proof of that. So how did that happen? Anyway, I looked at the whole situation and said, no, some fraud is going on here. The agent did have, upon contacting the agent denied picking up the pension. The agent had no idea that the pension was even picked up and cashed out. $100,000, my friends. So I went to the 100-man police station and reported the issue to a detective, I have to call him a so-called detective right now, to a detective in the CIB. Because I am an ex-detective, and as far as I'm concerned, that's a clear case of obtaining money by false pretense. This is obtaining a forge, is a case of forgery, and it's fraud overall. And no, people, this police officer, this so-called detective, I don't know where him get his training from, told me to my face that no offense has been committed. You hear me, I say, people? My subscribers who are police officers, I want to hear from you in relation to this. It would appear as if I have lost my knowledge of policing, or tell me what's going on. That is what I need to know. Because this police officer clearly told me that no offense has committed, and as a result of that, he's not going to do a report. He's not going to take my report. And he's not going to carry out any investigation because no offense has been committed. That is what the man told me. No, people, this comes back down to the topic at hand, that a policeman who has no knowledge of his profession is a danger to himself and the organization, because clearly an offense has been committed. So why was this man not collected? Why was my report not collected? And why was my report not acted upon? Why was a statement not recorded from me? Why was an investigation not started in the matter? If I was the police officer in this case, the detective in this case, the first thing I would do is collect a statement. And the second thing I would do is even go to the post office with the person who made the report, or even afterwards, and get proof from the post office that yes, indeed, the pension was signed for and who signed for it. The next thing you know, you would have to bring in a handwriting specialist and all of these little things too, in case a suspect is found. But this is it was a clear case of obtaining money by false pretense and forgery at best. And this police officer said no crime was committed. So I want to hear from my subscribers, mostly the ones who are police officers. As a matter of fact, even the lay people in here too. People are not police officers. People are not trained. And you tell me now, if somebody went to the post office and collected your pension on your behalf, signed for your pension in your name, without your permission, as a matter of fact, nobody can go there to sign for it without your permission. Anybody to sign for your pension at the post office has to be somebody attached to the pension as an agent. So only you, the pensioner, and your agent can sign for and pick up your pension and even cash your pension checks. So how was my pension checks amounting to $100,000 cashed without the agent and without me? And this police officer is telling me that no offense has been committed. And as such, there was no investigation into the thing. Let me tell you, and you know the worst part about it, people, let me tell you this. When I was a police at Huntsville, there was always a sergeant in the CIB or in the police station, a sergeant in charge. And any sergeant in charge always have knowledge of every areas of investigation and every areas, so they can assist other members who might need the guidance. There was no guidance in this office either, people, because I said to the police, listen, my brother, an offense is committed. What are you talking about? I said, you need to talk to somebody senior. And there was a sergeant there in the police. The police requested the sergeant's input into the matter, and the sergeant had nothing to offer the young police. So this is what the Jamaica Constabulary Force has come to. Sergeants sitting down with rank and have no knowledge of the profession either, and don't even know what to do and how to advise a younger member to carry out an investigation. Don't even know to point the member in the right direction. And let me tell you, some police officers, if you have sergeants out there who have no knowledge, who cannot even teach you nothing, you can learn a whole lot of stuff from the Director of Public Prosecution's office. You can call the Director of Public Prosecution office for anything most of the time, for under which sections to charge people for, and it relates to certain kind of investigations too. They will assist you. And you can go to other police stations too. As a young police, you need to find yourself a senior police officer. Or it doesn't have to be a sergeant. All it needs to do is to be a police officer who has knowledge of the profession. Because if you have a station without anybody having any knowledge of the profession, a pure problem that. Because up to now, I cannot understand how this police officer told me that no offense has been committed. When somebody fraudulently collected my pension, signed for my pension in my name, and somebody fraudulently cashed my pension checks in my name, obviously the personnel from the post office is also involved, because nobody can go to the post office. It's not supposed to be possible that somebody can go to the post office, sign for your pension in your name, cash the pension in your name, and that person is not you, because an ID has to be presented. So can somebody present an ID, my ID, with a different, and they have a different face than what is on my ID card? That is the question I'm asking you. Because there's an ID on it and it's not mine and it's not the agent's. So how did that person manage to cash the pension? Obviously, that person was working with somebody in the post office. So somebody in the post office had something to do with how the pension were cashed and how the pension were collected. And this policeman, this so-called detective, did not even start an investigation into the matter, claiming that no offense was committed. How stupid, how ignorant this man is. This policeman had no knowledge of his profession. And As an ex-police officer, I was so embarrassed that I did not even try to persist and even try to follow up on the thing. I tried to make another report. I went to a superintendent or something because I was so embarrassed. I just left the station. The way I was embarrassed, I could not believe that a man in plain clothes, sitting a so-called detective, had no knowledge of a simple fraud case. A simple fraud case, and nothing hard. I want a simple case of theft. Simple case of somebody signed for something that they're not supposed to sign for. Simple case of fraud. Fraudulently obtain money. Fraudulently obtain money. Obtaining money by false pretense. And forgery. Because once you sign a document that is not yours in somebody else's name, it is forgery. You forge somebody's signature. And you obtain the money by the false pretense in which you pretending to be the person whose name is on the checks. So how can a detective now, a trained detective, a learned detective not know these things? That is goes to show that the whole police are run up and down, a 666 them. I run up and down with big gun in a waist and them don't even understand how to investigate a minor crime. And the force is coming to an end if we have more of those around. I am telling you that. And when I looked at the thing and there's nobody else was there, 2 more police officers was there, were listening to the whole thing, and none of them could shed a light on it and even point the police in the right direction. You tell me, senior police officers, subscribers who are senior police officers, let me know. Am I right or am I wrong? I know I'm right. But you tell me your point of view on the whole thing. Because this is so embarrassing for the Jamaica Constabulary Force. In this day and age that a policeman does not have knowledge of his profession.